Next up is the Enneagram 2. And the Enneagram 2 is very different from the Enneagram 1. Uh, the Enneagram 2, um, their core fears focus around these ideas of being rejected, being worthless, being needy, unworthy of love. And because of this, a lot of their core desires are to be appreciated, to be loved, to be wanted. For a lot of our twos in childhood, there was a role reversal sometimes where they had to act almost as the parent and parenting their parents, if that makes sense. And so there's this innate nature to them to care for others and to meet the needs of others. And in a sense, what they're desiring out of that is appreciation and love and wanted. They're trying to find their place because they're longing to be wanted and to be loved instead of feeling these sense of rejection or worthlessness. They want to have worth. They want to be needed. They want to be loved. As a two, as you are in a relationship with others, when we talk about the idea of reconciliation, I got two suggestions for you. The first is don't keep score. As I mentioned before, twos have this ability to serve others really, really well. They have the desire to go out and to create opportunities to care for the needs of others. They are the ones that are bringing meals to people. They're the ones that are showing up at friends' doorsteps. They are oftentimes the ones if that everyone views as uh, a close friend. You know, they are the one that is in everyone's wedding. So it is easy for a two to then view everyone through that lens that there should be the same level of commitment, both in two different ways. One in terms of if a two does something for you, it is easy for them to say, why don't you reciprocate that back to me? And as a two, that's not helpful. So trying to avoid that in your relationships, as well as twos oftentimes want to meet all of the needs that they see and create this mindset that everyone should also meet all of those needs, which is also not helpful. It is another form of keeping score, because then no one is going to live up to the ability to meet all of these needs and to care for those who are around them. So instead, twos make sure that you don't keep this score. That isn't a part of the reconciliation process or the relationships that you have. The other thing is to ask for help because twos are so good at meeting needs and because they desire to step in to where they see those needs. They may forget to ask for help, and if you forget to ask for help, you may be in a situation where you are isolated and alone, and those around you probably are ones that have always relied on you to be the helper. And it is important for you to show that you need help, that you have needs, uh, that someone else stepping in would be of benefit. So, in a sense, realizing your limitations. When you realize your limitations and how you can care for people and how you can help other people, it aids the reconciliation process because it creates a space for others to step in, as opposed to you taking on the burden that maybe even wasn't asked of you to take on. Now, if you are in relationship with the two, here's a couple ideas of how to things to think about when you were thinking about reconciliation with them. First is to make sure to show love and appreciation. You know, as I mentioned in the previous slide, it is easy for twos to fall into this mindset of keeping score, that they are stacking up how they did and how much they cared about others versus how much someone else did. But oftentimes, a way to melt some of that comparison is to show that love and to show that appreciation, because you acknowledge at that point what they have done, how they have put themselves out there, how they have stepped in and done something that other people necessarily weren't willing or able to do. So taking time to slow down, show love, show appreciation, is imperative to helping mend those fences or to reconcile with twos. The second thing is to realize what they do and who they are. Now, for both twos, and then I'll get to this as well with threes, it is easy for the twos and the threes, but in a very different way, to lose who they are with what they do. Twos can be so caught up with trying to meet all of the needs around them that they become the person who meets all the needs. They become the helper as opposed to being the person in and of themselves who does these things. And so it's important to acknowledge those things that they do, show that love, show that appreciation for those things, show show that care that they stepped in these different ways. But there also has to be a sense of seeing them outside of those things that they do, because it's when we do this that then we begin to acknowledge that they are more than just these actions, that love is not dependent, appreciation is not dependent on them doing all of these things and them enacting all of these acts of care for others. Now, twos, I want to give you some things to think about in reconciling with yourself. First, I think it's important for you to remember that there are those around you who want you to know that you are wanted and that you are loved. In fact, probably for a lot of you out there, there are a lot more people than you even realize that would uh, see you as wanted and loved. Take that to heart. Let that sink in. Allow those who are speaking into your lives and allow those who are sharing their appreciation and their love for you to really soak up into your soul, so that it doesn't become, again, this comparison thing or this scorecard thing, but instead you can see the love and the care and the appreciation that they have. The second thing that I would encourage you with is being loved is not caused by the things you do. This is something for you to remember. Um, you are loved for who you are. We know that from both God, but we also know that uh, from others as well in your life. Oftentimes, again, you played this role reversal where you have been the caretaker for everyone, and it then feels like love is dependent on you doing all of these things, but love is not caused by the things you do. Um, and lastly, is to take time for yourself. You're so busy trying to do things for everyone else. It's important for you to slow down, to take a moment for yourself, to realize the needs that you have, the limitations that you have, and to care for yourself. Because if even though twos have this wealth of energy for caring for other people's, eventually that well runs dry. So you have to take care of yourself. You have to make sure that you're doing the things you need to do to care for yourself so you can continue caring for people, because that's something that you do really, really well.